To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer Solaflex. 24 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance. All on a simple machine that fits in the corner of your home. For a free brochure, call anytime.
That was 1969's #1 smash hit, Everyday People. And here's more chart-busting hits to keep the request line lit. People everywhere just wanna be free.
Love is kinda crazy with a spooky little girl like you.
And my love is the real one. So deep These are the solid gold hits you've asked for. I can't play them all, but now you can get them from Silver Eagle Records. Keep on rocking. 45 original hits by the original stars on 4 LPs or 3 long play cassettes for just $19.95.
And then along comes Mary. If you can't be with the one you love, money, not the one you win. Time has come today. I won't let me.
They call it mellow yellow.
Having a party, cruising the boulevard, this is the one that'll keep on rocking. Keep on rocking. Now available only through this exclusive TV offer on 4 LPs or 3 long play cassettes for just $19.95. Here's how to order.
Use your credit card and call toll-free 1-800-257-1234. That's 1-800-257-1234. Or save COD charges and send just $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Keep On Rockin', P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia. Don't delay. Call now.
This is the sound that earned them 16 gold records.
I see the moon rising.
Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, Tom Fogerty, and John Fogerty. Creedence Clearwater Revival.
If I was fast off, giving cross green forever. We're going up around the bend. Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q. Looking out my back door. And I wonder, still I wonder, who stopped the rain? Hey, you need a traveling train. Yeah, down on the corner, out in the street. We'll keep on playing.
This is the one, the ultimate collection. Creedence Clearwater Revival's greatest hits on 3 LPs or 2 cassettes. This is your last opportunity to buy TV's biggest selling album at the final price of just $14.95. Call right now to ensure delivery. Supplies are limited.
To order, use your credit card and call 1-800-228-5100. If busy, call 1-800-441-1234. Or save COD charges and send just $14.95 plus $2 shipping and handling to Creedence Clearwater Revival, P.O. Box 7000-51, Amherst, New York. That's P.O. Box 7000-51, Amherst, New York. Don't delay. Call now.
Hey, Super Football Saturday's gonna get you.
I know.
8th-ranked Alabama and aerial dynamo Mike Shula collide with Mississippi State and hotshot quarterback Don Smith. Then on Super Football Saturday night, Lou Holtz and Never Say Die Notre Dame challenge the Special Forces of Navy. The Fighting Irish battle the midshipmen in this annual college football classic. Super Football Saturday at 12:30 and 7 p.m. Eastern of the Superstation today.
Oh, wow, does that pizza smell great?
My nose wouldn't know. It's too stuffed to smell.
Hey, you need a Halls.
Halls Mentholyptus with vapor action penetrates deep into clogged nasal passages to help your stuffy nose feel clearer, while Halls soothes your throat to help your cough.
See, Halls vapor action really works.
Yeah, now I'm ready to work on some pizza.
For penetrating relief, get Halls vapor action.
Important medical news for sufferers of acid indigestion. Now, a new survey has revealed that doctors prefer the relief formula in Rolaids over the formula in Tums. Rolaids antacid medicine first consumes all the acid required to bring millions 100% relief, and then keeps on working to help keep your stomach trouble-free. Treat the pain and burn of excess stomach acid with serious medicine. Remember, doctors prefer the relief formula in Rolaids over the formula in Tums. Welcome to the Silver Bullet, home of a cold Coors Light.
Russ, do you work out?
Yeah, I belong to a club. Here's your Coors Light.
Yeah, I'm thinking about joining a club, but can't seem to find a good enough reason. I mean, is a flat stomach a good enough reason?
Nope.
Building up my endurance?
Nope.
Big muscles?
No.
See the club, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh. What's the name of that club?
No slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
There's a reason we made Oscal 500 chewable tablets. There's a reason we made them chewable. There's a reason we made them taste so good. There's a reason we made Oscal 500 chewable tablets a delicious calcium supplement you'll enjoy adding to your diet. So you'll do something about calcium deficiency before your body does.
Following World Championship Wrestling, John Wayne leads a group of non-combat Navy men directly into combat in the Fighting Seabees. Then, his words have inspired millions. Billy Graham. But first, John Wayne and the World War II classic, The Fighting Seabees. Next on the Superstation.
Eddie Murphy is back in action.
Oh!
And loving every minute of it. The Golden Child, rated PG-13.
Starts Friday, December 12th.
The Adolph Coors Brewing Company of Golden, Colorado is proud to present the Coors Play of the Week. Monday night, December 1st, UCLA's Reggie Miller scores 32 points in leading the Bruins to an 89-84 upset win over North Carolina, the #1 ranked team in most preseason polls. It was just a year ago at Chapel Hill, the Tar Heels handed UCLA its worst defeat in Bruin basketball history. For a complete sports wrap-up every Sunday night, catch the Coors Sports page at 10 p.m. Eastern right here on the Superstation.
Welcome to the Silver Bullet, home of a cold Coors Light.
Jimbo, yo, where's Nadine tonight?
They're probably sitting by the phone waiting for yours truly. Give me a Coors Light, will you, sweet thing?
You guys have a little love spat.
Yeah, man's got to have some space. Got to show these women who's boss. Got to zig when they zag. Hey, I know it's brutal, but a man's got to do. But Nadine.
Yo. Oh, she looks miserable.
Yeah.
No slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
Tonight, his job was to build an airstrip, not fight the enemy.
Yeah, doing great. Watching my men get knocked off like ducks in a bird bath.
But when you push John Wayne, he pushes back.
That'll teach him to monkey with construction, man.
The Fighting Seabees, 8:05 Eastern on the Superstation tonight. Sunday on the all-new Leave It to Beaver, the newest member of the Cleaver clan comes home.
I think he looks a lot like me. That's okay. Maybe dating won't be important to him.
Then, Monday, Wally decides it's Dad's Day with the kids.
My son and I have plans.
Like what? A drooling contest?
But ends up playing Mr. Mom.
Catch you later, Hazel.
The new Leave It to Beaver, Sunday at 6:30 Eastern and Monday at 6:05, only on the Superstation.
Smile, Kim.
And split my lip open?
Cracked, peeling, cold sore too?
Hurts bad.
Serious lip problems need serious medicine.
Lip MedEx?
It's different. Got the medicated ingredients doctors recommend most.
A healing feeling.
Lip MedEx helps speed healing. Starts to relieve pain right away.
Feels better already.
Healing feeling?
It is serious medicine.
Smile when you say that. Lip MedEx. Serious medicine for serious lip problems.
Healing feeling.
Ultra Magnus! The courageous Ultra Magnus is a born leader. We meet at last, Galvatron. And it will be the last time we meet. And Galvatron is Ultra Magnus' sworn enemy. Transformers! Galvatron transforms from laser cannon to fighting robot. And Ultra Magnus from huge car carrier to Autobot commander. Transformers! More than meets the eye. The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Waiting. It seems like an eternity before a pimple will go away. What you need is a medicine that's powerful, that's fast, that starts working now. Maximum Strength Clearasil. Its strength comes from benzoyl peroxide. Its speed from a micronized formula that goes down deep to clear your skin fast. Get Maximum Strength Clearasil and minimize the wait.
Imagine this.
Deep in the jungle, you discover it. The Cobra Teradrome with gun emplacements almost everywhere and special base for refueling vehicles.
There it is.
The Cobra Teradrome is really incredible.
That's Dr. Mindbender. And now, look, they've captured Flynn.
It's time to warn the Joes, but suddenly they launch the Firebat. American hero. Live the adventure of G.I. Joe. Cobra Teradrome comes with Firebat and Pilot. Other figures and equipment sold separately.
Joe, Joe!
Oh my goodness. Look at y'all all here again. I can't imagine that you would be sick of me yet by now. It's been a long day of like the testimony of the same person and then a really long and annoying cross-examination by the defense of the same person. And it wore me out. I'm not even trying to lie. It wore me out. But I got an old friend of mine contacted me, an old homie, and we caught up, and it rejuvenated me, people. You ever get that phone call from that person at just the right time? You know what I mean? It was it's much needed. So I got a second wind here, folks. Sydney's like, no. I got a second wind here, folks. Now, I wasn't even gonna talk about this dude no more, man. I was done. I was done talking about this harsh reality limey dipshit. But I mean, I was done. You know, I figured the Kylie Rodney thing, you know, he seemed to kind of straighten up a little bit, or maybe I just didn't pay as much attention to him. I don't know. But I catch this video, and let me just play this first, okay? Just so you guys get some context. I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick.
225,000 members and counting. Ladies, kudos to you for putting a stop to it and scrubbing the bullies that do this stuff. But Alina, what's going on? Why are they doing it in the first place?
Okay, so as we all know, Ashley Banfield, right? Ashley Banfield of News Nation. And News Nation isn't exactly, I wouldn't call them a reputable news source necessarily. You know what I mean? But News Nation understands that there is a demand, a demographic for true crime, and they take advantage of this. But I mean, as far as people who really focus on that, they're probably the most legit. But at the same time, and I'm saying nice things about him now only because because at least somebody with a large audience and a large platform is calling out this tragedy pimping bullshit. And it makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, so, but I mean, let's face it, they are, let's just call them what they are. They're a TV tabloid news source. You know what I mean? They're not a mainstream news source. Now, I like Brian Etten. I like Ashley Banfield, and I enjoy News Nation, but I understand that they're not, the most reliable news source. I'm not gonna invest in them as far as solid, information on a case, because unless I see it from other news sources, I take it with a grain of salt. And a lot of times I'll see them being the only one saying something about a case, and I'll be like, I don't know about all that. That happened with the Chris Watts thing. She was the one who brought on some dude that claimed to be Chris Watts' gay lover. And I was just like, come on, man. So they're not perfect, but but at least with the size of their platform, they're addressing a very, very real problem. And I commend News Nation for that.
Hi, Ashley. Well,
now this is the thing. These are moderators of a Facebook group. Okay. These two women are admins of a Facebook group that is based on the Idaho University murders. Okay. And I you guys know me. I try to stay away from Facebook groups. I'm not a fan. But the reason why I don't like the Facebook groups is because the tragedy pimping happens the worst there. Like, there's nothing to be gained from it most of the time. It's just a bunch of busybodies sitting around talking shit and spreading and perpetuating rumors about real people who are going through a real tragedy. And it's really, really irritating when this happens. And it happens the worst in these in these Facebook groups. So
has always had a target on her back from the beginning, mostly because she was there was a comment put out like in November 24th by a best friend of her, or like a close friend of hers, that basically explained, or out of her mouth said who the suspect looked like, or that she saw somebody in the house. So there was always a target on her back. However, Bethany has never been spoken about since the beginning. And now that the subpoena has been released, now this target has shifted, and now the target is on Bethany's back. And because originally everybody's like, well, why is nobody talking about Bethany? Where was Bethany? Nobody's, but originally they always thought she was sleeping on the first floor. And when they found out about what happened in the house, that she just exited out of the, door over there and didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. But now we see the subpoena, and on number 9, if you look at it over here, it says Bethany Funk was interviewed by police on several occasions. She disclosed things she heard and things that she saw. So now
this is really important. This point that she makes right here. I want you guys to really pay attention here.
Now, if you look at it over here, it says Bethany Funk was interviewed by police on several occasions. She disclosed things she heard and things that she saw. So now everyone's like, oh, so she did hear things, she did see things, where this whole time since November, we were under the impression that she never saw or heard a single thing. So
well, for heaven's sake, that's the defense language,
right? So this is what always ends up happening, right? People will take something out of a legal document and turn it into whatever the fuck they want, right? So just because there was this general language being used in saying, she talked to law enforcement about the things she saw and the things that she heard, it doesn't necessarily mean that she heard or saw anything. That's just the way it's worded in the court document. It's just worded that way, It doesn't mean that she actually heard anything. So now everybody wants to take those words and build off of them and go, oh my God, what did she see? What did she hear? What do they mean by that? All these amateur sleuths that don't know what the fuck they're talking about anyway. And we have YouTube channels that know this. They're aware that this is happening. They're aware that this is happening. Like, take Canceled Karen, for instance, right? Canceled Karen, she would basically, her method, she would use Facebook groups. This is what she would do to build her channel, right? Canceled Karen had this method to where there would be a case that the whole world is talking about. Canceled Karen would find the Facebook group, and she had some leverage. And she had this channel that had a lot of subscribers. So she would say, hey, listen, why don't you make me the admin of this group, the main admin? And basically she'd take over the whole group, and she'd say, I will promote the group with my YouTube channel, right? And so she'd use the Facebook group to spin a bunch of narratives, and then she'd go on her YouTube channel and spin all these other false narratives. And now she just got sued and lost for $10 million. Now, the amount that she has to pay has not been established yet, but she rightfully was sued for defamation. And now she has to pay God knows what. But the lawsuit was for $10 million. Canceled Karen doesn't have $10 million. So, yeah. And this person right here, who's an admin for a discussion group on Facebook regarding this case, is now saying, well, look at this. As soon as this happens, people start going crazy. And imagine them as admins, how overwhelmed they are in trying to control that narrative. I was an admin for Chris Watt's Facebook group, and I was constantly going, hey, wait a minute. You don't know that. Don't jump to that conclusion. Blah, 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 blah. Constantly having to do that. And fuck Facebook groups. Since then, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Right? Like that's what the defense is saying. People are jumping all over that and assuming they know more. That's so frustrating. And what also is frustrating, Christine, is that you guys, being the good guys and getting rid of these bullies, you're being targeted. You've actually had your lives threatened.
Yeah, Ashley, we've had our lives threatened in the last few months. If we kick someone out of the group, they literally lose their mind and go crazy. They've called our moderators place of employment.
You see what I'm talking about? You don't think this shit happens from YouTube channels where people go real life? I had somebody that I really wanted on this channel, man. Somebody, we would have had a blast. And this person, we were emailing back and forth and setting up this wonderful live stream that you guys would have really enjoyed. And then it turned out that this person ended up succumbing, and understandably so. I'm not criticizing anybody for succumbing to threats and intimidation, but people were sending this person Google Earth images of their home, and just these not so direct and yet not so subtle threats to their physical well-being. And that's not okay, but it was enough to make them go, you know what, with what you do on your channel, as much fun as it is and how much I feel as strongly about it as you do, I just, it's not worth it to me. I don't want to get, I don't need people coming after me, and I don't need people coming after my loved ones. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But at the same time, this happens all the time. But now there's two sides to this coin too. What she's talking about, being an admin in a group and then kicking somebody out. Sometimes these admins in these groups are a little too how should we say a little too controlling, and these admins in these groups get these god complexes because they're an admin in a fucking Facebook group, and it's like, really, dude? Okay. And then they boot people the fuck out for having a different opinion, right? This is very common, but no matter what, there's not a reason to call someone's job or and interfere with their everyday livelihood. There's no excuse for that. And the way this happens is when these rumors are perpetuated and none of them are based on any real fact.
They search online for our addresses, our telephone numbers. We've had horrible photos sent to us. We've had pictures of our husbands, ourselves, our children put online. And there's just no boundaries when it comes to bullying online.
It's frankly vile and filthy, and those people should be ashamed of themselves. And I know that the rest of your group is self-policing as well, and they're not here for this. So thank you for keeping running a tight ship, keeping it in control. I know you guys are headed you booked a hotel, I think, to head to the prelim. So let's stay in touch. I really do like our conversations. And again, thank you for keeping it civil. I appreciate it.
What are they going to do out
Absolutely.
there?
We do our best.
Thank you.
Christine Cameron, thank you for watching.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I agreed with everything that was being said there, and I applaud News Nation and Ashley Banfield for putting that out in front. You know what I mean? Like putting this problem out in front, because this has always been a problem. And I applaud Ashley Banfield and News Nation for actually doing a little piece on it, because hopefully people, the only thing we can hope for is that people hold a higher standard for the content, in whether it's be in a Facebook group or on a YouTube channel. And then this happens. Shut the fuck up. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all well, you beautiful, beautiful people. Now I'm going to do something today that I don't often do. It's something that you don't rarely see Harsh get involved in.
I'm pretty sure we've seen this before with the Kylie Rodney case, but go ahead, buddy.
And that is having a little bit of a rant. Look,
I've gotten them to go on rants before.
Rant that's warranted.
Hold on. Damn it, man. My pause game.
But look, it's a rant that's warranted. It's a rant that's warranted. Now, I was listening. There's a link in the description, and it's regarding a News Nation video. And I'll hear you now.
Okay. That video that he's referring to is the one we just watched. Okay?
I hear you now, and look, I completely agree. But what this video was specifically looking at was about bullying, the bullying of the people who run this group, the people who are bullying Dylan Mortensen, people who are bullying Bethany Funk now, and the fact that they have targets on the back. And we're going to talk about Ashley Banfield's reaction to that, because I think it proves that she is on another planet. She's living in her own little dream world. And in fact, many, many people...
Okay. Now, this fucking idiot just said that shit out loud. All right? That Ashley Banfield, for expressing her opinion that the kind of behavior that those two women on her panel described was reprehensible. For some reason, according to this fucking idiot, she's on another planet. Okay.
People who discuss this case and talk about it are probably themselves living in a little bit of a dream world. Now, let's get one thing straight.
Let's get it.
The Idaho 4 case is a tragic, tragic story. It's a story of 4 young adults who lost their lives.
Yes, it is.
And you don't really hear much about them. As with many, many of these kind of cases, the focus primarily looks at the perpetrator and anybody else on the peripherals who can add some level of intrigue to a case. It spikes people's curiosity, especially when...
Okay. Like he just showed a freeze frame of the dude, you know, hoodie guy that turned out to not have jack shit to do with the case. So why he even put that as an example is beyond me. I guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's just putting that out there, I guess, because it's, you know, some misinformation that took place, and there was a perpetuating rumor about this guy, and all these other perpetuating rumors about this guy.
When there's holes in the case, and I think it's fair to say that there are an abundance of holes in the Idaho 4 case. Now, some...
Okay, no, it's not fair to say that. I'll stop you right there. It's not fair to say that. The reason why that's not fair to say that is because there's a gag order. And because even if there weren't a gag order placed on this case, the information that is already made public, it doesn't mean that that's all the information that law enforcement has. So there's no holes. You can't just assume that there are holes, because by saying that there are holes in this case, you're assuming and spinning a narrative with your channel and with your platform that law enforcement is incompetent and not doing their job, because you don't know if there are holes in this case or not. You don't know what law enforcement knows. And more so now than even before, because now there's a gag order and they're not giving you any updates. There was a time where they were giving daily updates on this case before they caught Brian Coburger and after. And then there was a gag order placed, and that's it. And sorry, tragedy pimps, you're not going to get any more information.
Some may not agree. Some may say that this is over. This is dead and buried. We're now just got to wait for the process to finish and conclude and for this to be put to bed. But for many, many others, myself included, there are things that I feel have been unanswered and raise huge, huge questions. Not only in...
Huge questions. Those questions are going to be answered if you shut the fuck up and wait for law enforcement to do their job and due process to take place. Process. We have to let process take its place.
How this...
We have to let it come to fruition.
Played out. But what happened afterwards in order to make it look a certain way. So let's talk about this video in particular, first of all. Now, this is apparently a large online group. They call themselves a discussion group, an Idaho 4 discussion group. Well, I put it to you now that in the event of a tragic case like this, when you set up a discussion group, you are perpetuating the very bullying that you are apparently so against. And again, we're going to touch on some comments.
No, the people in said discussion group who are adding rumor and irresponsible speculation to the discussion in the discussion group are perpetuating the problem. Not the people having a mature, fact-driven discussion. Those people are not doing anything. Otherwise, what's the fucking point of being informed of it? It's so that we can talk about it. It's so that we can discuss it, so we can speculate, but do so responsibly to where we're not victimizing people who may well be victims if it isn't established already that they're victims. Luke, thank you so much. Are we listening to Nigel Thornberry? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Comments towards that in a second. But because you are offering a platform for people with differing opinions to speak, it's like me. I can't complain about people who attack Brian. I can't complain about people who attack Dylan or Bethany or the other.
Okay. The reason why you can't complain about it is because you spin narratives that perpetuate said rumors. That's why you don't get to complain about it. Okay? But here you are complaining about a platform who is merely speaking out against the bullying that takes place as a result of a difference in opinion. So far, all you're doing is criticizing that, because that's all they talked about. They didn't talk about the rumors and the problems so much. They talked about the results that come with it. They talked about people who merely voice their opinions and then start getting threats. They talked about people getting kicked out for perpetuating rumors, and because they weren't allowed to perpetuate their rumors on their platform anymore, they started getting phone calls at their jobs. So people going real life is the issue here, and that's all that they were talking about on that Ashley Banfield piece. The only thing that they were addressing was the fact that why can't people just have a fucking opinion and discuss it without, going real life on somebody? You know what I mean?
The other people on the peripheral. I can't, because I am perpetuating it by having a platform that enables it. I am, in fact, an enabler. But it's what we do with the platform that we create.
You're more than an enabler. You're more than that, because you right here are the point of this video. Like, what is the title of this? Stop moaning about questioning the Idaho 4 narrative. Nobody's moaning about questioning the Idaho 4 narrative. We're talking about people going real life. And we're talking about how damaging the rumors can be. And you are merely making this video to somehow justify your own bullshit because you felt attacked by Ashley Banfield for some reason. You are feeling some type of way. That's all this is. And the only reason you're feeling some type of way is because you know that you perpetuate the shit that they were talking about on that piece.
Create is whether we can turn the platform into something that is able to tame the beast, so to speak, or you can utilize the funds that it might make to do better.
Let me tell you how you do that. Stop doing the shit that you're doing. Report only on facts. Control your chat and your comments when people are saying and spreading rumors, and say, hey, wait a minute, that's not fact. We only discuss facts here. Because there's a few facts that you can go over. I'll tell you right now, as far as the Idaho University slayings go, I think there's a chance that Brian Coburger could walk. Because the evidence that has been made public that we're aware of, okay, the stuff that we're aware of, it's not a whole lot. A decent defense can shut it down. A decent defense can create enough doubt to a jury with what we know they have. For sure. I strongly feel that way. Just because there's DNA found on the button of a sheath that was left there and these people were stabbed, well, that could very well be circumstantial. Because we don't know whose sheath that belongs to. Just because his DNA is on the button doesn't mean it belonged to him. Could mean that he just touched it. Could mean that he left it behind at a party because that was a party house. I mean, so do I think he's guilty? Yeah. Yeah. Based on all of the GPS tracking and shit, yeah, absolutely. All of the phone pings, absolutely. I totally think he's guilty. I absolutely think he's guilty. But I have enough reason to believe that he's guilty. I have enough reason I have enough justifiable reason to speculate that he's guilty of this crime. What I don't have is enough evidence to speculate whether or not Bethany Funk was involved somehow, or Mortensen was involved somehow. There's nothing other than, okay, this is how long she took to call 911. A million circumstances that you never even thought of could come into play. And every single case that we've ever covered, that we've ever looked at and followed, there's always something that comes up in trial that you never fucking thought of. So it's super irresponsible to start looking at this potential victim, this survivor, because what we know of is that she survived a mass murder that took place in her home. A quadruple homicide. We don't know the circumstances as to why she was not attacked. We have a few things here and there, but none of it is enough to safely assume that she had something to do with the attack. And none of it is enough to safely assume that she's not traumatized from the experience. So it's just crazy to me that you're sitting here making a video. It's not even crazy. It's clearly obvious. You decided to address this situation with this News Nation thing because that News Nation piece made you feel some kind of way. Period. You started feeling some type of way about the shit that you put out there on YouTube and the stuff that you perpetuate because you're sitting here saying that you do it. The only thing is you're trying to justify it. Because again, you felt some type of way about them talking about a situation that you may or may not apply to you. It didn't really apply to you to a lot of people until you decided to do this. Which I think is fucking hilarious.
To provide things for people in their moment of need or times of need. And you can turn a bad thing into a good thing. So the legacy left behind from victims and those who are hurt are not just negative things, but things that have led to other people being able to perhaps escape similar situations or get answers, like we saw in the Kylie Rodney case and the good work of AWP. I know there's comments around AWP and Jared Lysak in particular, but the work that was done by AWP as a group and will continue to be done with the likes of Doug Bishop and his new venture.
Okay. Yeah. Can you kiss ass anymore, dude? Yeah. Let me reaffirm my opinion on AWP and Doug Bishop, because I had this opinion prior to Jared Lysak being accused of child rape. So before that even happened, I expressed my opinions on AWP and Doug Bishop here. And I saw not Jared, okay, until later, but I saw Doug Bishop spin a narrative, because he was the one talking, he was the point man, spin a narrative on that Kylie Rodney video that Jagger was responsible for her death, and had some phony ass fucking eyewitness say something saying that he was careful not to say it was Jagger, but he described Jagger saying that he was seen the next day with Kylie when it wasn't Kylie. And never once did this man apologize. He made sure to distance himself from Jared Lysick once the child rape accusations came to fruition. He was sure to do that. But at no point did he ever, after it was proven that this was an accident, a very tragic one, after it was proven, he didn't bother to apologize to Kylie's family for making a circus out of her tragic demise. He didn't apologize to Jagger or Sammy Smith or any of her friends that he implied strongly with that video were responsible for her death, saying that it was foul play when it was proven that it wasn't foul play. So, and then you got this fucking dipshit. Look at this. Look at this fucking guy, bro. My eyes are still itchy from crawling as deep inside this man's ass as I possibly could. I opened an umbrella with my tongue. My fantasies came to fruition.
United Search Corps. These will continue to be platforms that will provide answers to people. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back on to the point. So
sorry,
I
was kissing ass a
you're going to be shocked
in
in a second, because this is a comment. This was a statement made by Ashley Banfield herself. But they're talking about the survivors having a target on the back, and that's something that we will also talk about. That's the defense language. People were jumping on that and assuming they know more. It's so frustrating. She goes on to talk about the fact that
projection much?
People are being bullied and having bad things said about them, saying it's frankly vile and disgusting, and those people should be ashamed of themselves. Now, I want you to let me know down below what you think of that statement. And disgusting, for being bullied and having bad things said about them, saying it's frankly vile and disgusting, and those people should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to let me know down below what you think of that statement in itself, coming from Ashley Banfield's mouth. Now, is she living on another planet?
I don't know.
Or is it okay for certain people in certain areas to pick and choose who gets bullied? Because make no bones about it, guilty or not, in the eyes of the law and the process, Brian Coburger has not been proven guilty of anything. And we talk about targets.
Brian Coburger has not been proven guilty of anything, but the most evidence that has been made public points towards him. Okay? Now, you can spout conspiracy theory all you want or whatever, if that's the case, if that's what you want to do, no problem. That's cool. But what I'm saying is, you're sitting here and you're saying Brian Coburger has not been proven guilty yet. Fair enough. True. Agreed. But why is it okay for you to start spinning narratives? You get to use that to try to create a narrative that an innocent bystander, as far as the evidence dictates goes, might have had something to do with it. You don't defend this person as a possible victim when you don't know anything about him. But here you're trying to justify that by saying that Brian Coburger hasn't been proven guilty yet.
Well, he's got more of a target than any of them, and
he's in jail
wrongfully.
The fuck are you talking
later
about?
On in this video, we're going to really dig into that. So yeah,
he's in fucking jail, bro. He's in jail via plenty of probable cause. What the fuck are you talking about? That he's got a target on his back. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, maybe in jail. So fucking what? But probably not. I'm sure he's under protection. But that still doesn't explain why the fuck it's okay for Bethany Funk to have a target on her back. Or Dylan Mortensen to have a target on her back. You still haven't explained why that shit's okay. But here you are telling us all to stop fucking moaning about it.
This group is apparently saying that they are getting threatened. They're getting pictures sent to them, and they're being doxxed online, having pictures of the children put online, so on and so forth. And there doesn't seem to be a limit to online bullying. That's not the problem. It's what people determine as bullying. You cannot be upset.
What?
You cannot be bent up out of shape without your permission for that to affect you in that way.
Okay, dickhead. What they were talking about and what she said was disgusting was people calling their jobs, affecting their family's life. Claire, tell me about the law. Shit, I don't fucking know. The law. Oh, the law. The law. I got that. Thank you. So this dude is sitting here. Okay, sorry. I lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second.
Shay, you cannot be upset. You cannot be...
Okay, so he's saying that bullying, it's what you perceive as bullying, how you see it, what constitutes bullying. Well, dude, somebody calling your fucking job, that's bullying. Somebody finding out and going through your Facebook and trying to find out who you're related to and then calling their fucking jobs just because they're associated with you. That's fucking bullying. That's absolutely bullying because you're fucking with someone's life. Now, I agree with you that just criticizing somebody is not bullying. Not at all. But like right now, you putting yourself out there, and I don't think that Harsh Reality would disagree with this, but him putting himself out here makes him subject to criticism. Me doing what I'm doing makes me subject to criticism. Absolutely, without a doubt. Okay? That's not bullying. But if I go and try to find out his wife's name and then find out where she works and start fucking calling her job, that's fucking bullying. That's fucking with his life. I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to stoop to that point, well, then you don't have a point. You don't have a valid opinion that you feel conviction behind. Because if you had a valid opinion that you felt conviction behind, then that would be enough. You feel that shit with conviction. You believe in your opinion that much and that you just fucking leave it. That speaks for itself. But once you're shut down to the point where you think you need to go and contact somebody in their real life, you feel like you need to dox them, you feel like you need to swat them, anything like that, you lost the argument. Your point no longer valid. It's lost any validity whatsoever. So to sit here and be like, well, what exactly is bullying? Well, fucking that's bullying, dude. And that's all they were speaking against.
Bent up out of shape without your permission for that to affect you in that way. Someone might come on here and say, Harsh, you fucking ugly moron. Now I can either let that get to me.
Harsh. I'm not going to call you an ugly moron, okay? Just a moron.
Or I can think to myself, I genuinely don't care what your opinion is. Someone might say, oh, your content is crap. you're just repeating yourself. You're doing this, that, and the other. I think to myself, I could take that to heart, or I could just think, I don't care. You're commenting. You're helping the algorithm see that there is interaction on this video. More people will see it. Cheers, tar, goodbye. But these people, they seem to build something that will ultimately build what they're complaining about. It will, as aforementioned, it will perpetuate bullying if you form a platform that's around a tragic event and there is different.
See, that's where you're wrong. Because people on my platform in the Glarer community, they don't do that. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. And if it were to happen and I were to get wind of it, those people would not be welcome in my community anymore. And I would publicly ostracize them just as I would ostracize anybody else for going real life, for harassing victims or victims' loved ones. Any one of them. So to sit here and say that if you have a platform, you're subject to bullying, bullshit. Like you're perpetuating bullying, bullshit. That shit doesn't fucking happen here. I can tell you that right now. That shit does not fucking happen here. Anybody here in my chat who doesn't feel strongly enough about their opinions to where they feel that those opinions are enough to speak for themselves, and you can present those opinions in a discussion logically, and you feel like that's not enough and you got to go real life on somebody, you're not fucking welcome here. And you miss the entire point of this channel. You're just simply not welcome. Anybody who does that. Simple. So for him to sit here and try to like justify his shit by lumping us all into it, if you have a platform that's going to be bullying. No, dude, wrong. It's all in how you manage your platform. You are accountable for your platform. See, these shithead fucking platforms, these shithead channels all have this one thing in common. They never have any accountability for the way that their chat behaves. Yet they want to control everything, right? But they don't ever want to, oh, well, I don't have any control over what these fucking people do, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can try. Because it's real simple. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys what to do. I'm just telling you guys what the fuck is welcome here. In my house, that shit's not okay. In my house, take your muddy shoes off. Because I got a clean carpet and I'm proud of it. Simple. Bro, look at my pause game, dog. Yo. Oh my goodness.
Differing opinions. That's just what's going to happen. Don't you lunatic. But it's not about targets being on people's back. The Idaho 4 case, 1122 King Road, there were 6 people, apparently. We still don't even know that for sure. We still are not 100% sure who was actually in there that night. But there were 6 people, 4 of them slain. One of them quickly got legal counsel, left the state, and is currently out of state in Nevada, I believe. She has been summoned by the defense because apparently she has evidence that could exonerate the accused, and she's trying to fight and battle it.
Now, you see...
The other one, apparently...
You see what he did there? How he emphasized by the defense, you know, that implies something. That makes people listening to him who can't fucking think for themselves go, oh my God, well then she's defending she has information that could exonerate Brian Coburger, she must know something and blah 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 for the defense. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, sure, it means that the defense thinks that she has information that could help with their case, but it doesn't mean that she has information that can absolutely exonerate him. You don't know the circumstances. And he goes into saying something about, well, you know, we don't even know that for sure. There were 6 people, but we don't even know that for sure. Like, okay, you're admitting you don't know that 100% that there were 6 people. So how the fuck are you going to sit here and promote people who don't know this and don't have 100% of the details to start throwing accusations at people who are potentially innocent? You're sitting here, just this whole video is designed to justify the bullshit narratives that you spin. You did it with Kylie Rodney and you're doing it here.
They saw the person who did it, could give an accurate description of them to a degree because it was dark, watched them leave, 8 hours later, called friends who then came over and called 911. And people...
Right there. In just the way that he delivered that information, he knows exactly what he's doing. This is a tragedy pimp in its truest form, okay? Like, Betty is just fucking too dumb to be this slick. But he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's stating certain details of this case regarding Dylan Mortensen, and he's implying that she is guilty of something because there's got to be something wrong. Somebody who saw the perpetrator, maybe it was dark, I don't know, but then called her friends, and then her friends called 911. Like, it's that fucking condescending bullshit with his fucking little, you know, with the limey fucking lemon twist on it. You know, it's ridiculous.
And that, like I say, that's just stripping at bare bones. That's bare bones. That's not taking anything else into consideration. That's just bare bones. That's the story.
Right. But look at the way that you delivered it. Look at the way. I mean, you're not even being fair to say, well, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know what happened. We don't know as to why she didn't call 911 immediately. We don't know the state of mind that she was in when she saw this person. We don't even know if she's saying that she saw Brian Coburger. You're already painting her out to be this witness in a trial and what her testimony is already going to be. And you don't fucking know. That's not the bare bones of the case. Even though you're saying it is, that is what we like to call misinformation. Because you're sitting here saying the bare bones of the case is that she saw him. And even though maybe it was dark, blah, 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 but you're implying that she saw him, or she's saying that she saw him, more importantly. You're saying that she saw him. You didn't outright say it, but you're implying it strongly. So that if we were having a conversation right now, you could sit here and tell me, oh, I never said that. I didn't. When did you hear me say that? I didn't say that. But you might as well have. Lindsay, thank you so much. Welcome.
And I appreciate not many people, apart from the families, have skin in the game. But if you did, you would look at it differently. The questions that are being asked are warranted. It's not about bullying people. It's about just the nature of the beast. When there is a situation that people are...
Questions being asked. the questions being asked may prove to be valid at some point. But right now, it's just simply an asshole thing to do to not assume that this person is a survivor and went through a very traumatic experience, because you weren't there. You don't fucking know. You know a little bit of a little bit because it was put out there in a probable cause affidavit. But that, as we know, all of us who actually follow trials know that what's in that affidavit is a fraction of the evidence that they plan on bringing to a trial. So you don't even know. You don't even know if there's like recorded phone footage of this dude in the house. You have no fucking idea. You're sitting here making all these decisions on what kind of questions you're going to ask based on very little information. And those questions perpetuate rumors. And those rumors victimize the people that have a target on their back now because of it.
But interested in, people get invested in, and there are questions and holes. People will search to have those holes filled.
Come on, man.
I don't know what people want to complain about. And it's the likes of Ashley Banfield and the power of News Nation and their influence that is one of the primary antagonists of the negativity towards all of these people. Because as the news shifts, the focus shifts. It's not Target.
Hey, stop, you fucking douche. Luke, thank you so much. I'm just sticking around because Blair has a sexy accent. Can you say Nature of the Beast in his accent, please? Stop it. So this dude is saying that Ashley Banfield is the perpetuator of this specific subject. And I don't think she is. I think that what she's doing is, I think that she embellishes certain things and to make it seem like she has the inside scoop on things, but that is completely separate than her addressing a common problem. And since you fall under the category of that problem, you feel threatened and you feel the need to address it and attack Ashley Banfield and News Nation right now because they attacked your content. And nobody said your name. The only reason we all know this now is because you are jumping to self-defense over it.
I love the way that, like I said earlier, the people focus on the word target. When it's talking about Bethany, if it's talking about Dylan, it's target. It's talking about Brian, it's incel.
Okay. All right. Let me explain to you why they're naming these people as targets. Okay. So every time you title something such as "What the Funk," right? Or Xana's mom, or Maddie, likely target, or I mean, I could go on and on. Every time you title something like that, it's targeting that person. It's targeting that person. When you make them the subject of the issue, you're targeting that person. So yes, I mean, yes, I got to play what you just last said one more time real quick.
If it's talking, like I said earlier, the people focus on the word target. When it's talking about Bethany, if it's talking about Dylan, it's target.
Right.
It's talking about Brian, it's incel. It's
okay. because the evidence dictates that Brian Coburger was likely an incel. It's that simple. What do you expect us to call Bethany and Dylan incels? What the fuck are you talking about? What exactly is your fucking gripe here? Because you're sitting here and you're saying, oh, well, we call him an incel and then we make them out to be victims of being targets. Yeah, because they are. Because of your bullshit content and a bunch of other people's, not just you, but a bunch of other people's, and you're perpetuating this problem. And then you're trying to sit here and act like everybody's doing it. If I'm doing it, everybody's. No, dude. I'm not doing it. I've talked about this case. I'm not doing that. And all you motherfuckers just kept on talking about people that ended up having nothing to do with the case. And it's so funny because now the big whining fucking thing is that there's a gag order and now you don't get access. We were getting these updates and you guys were taking these updates and spinning them. And the whole purpose of these updates were to squash rumors 90% of the time. 90% of the time, they'd see somebody that was being falsely accused of something, and then they were being falsely accused of something, and then the Moscow Police Department had to put out a statement saying that no, that's not true, and the dangers of misinformation. And then nobody wants to listen to that. And here, on one side of people's mouths, they're saying, oh, we want justice. We want justice. The other side of their mouths, they're damaging the investigation. An open investigation. Because make no mistake, until this thing goes to trial, this is an open investigation.
Narcissist, it's sexist, it's bigot. Do you know what I mean? That is the mainstream media controlling the narrative. And that's what these groups do, these discussion groups. Even though they claim to be discussion groups,
let me let you in on a little secret, homie. News Nation is not mainstream media, but go ahead.
An underlying direction they want to carry that in. And as soon as people start to go against what their overall direction, either it's because of fear, they fear that, oh, hold on a second, if this goes too far, we could get shut down, and we've got this group and it's got 250,000 members. That's not a fucking job. If you've got a group and you're an administrator of a group,
I mean, I agree with you there.
On Facebook, it's not a job.
Right. True.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby at best.
True. I agree with you on that too.
I just don't get it. I just do not get it.
But I mean, what's the relevance?
There's more than just Dylan.
What's the relevance of them being a job? Are you trying to imply that when these people are complaining about their jobs being affected, that they're doing a bullhorn Betty and they're saying that being a admin in a group is a job? I don't think that's what they're saying. I think what they're saying is, why can't I have a separate life online as I do in my real life? Why do you have to why do people who spread these rumors and get called out for it have to end up going real life and crossing over into my real life and fucking with my actual job? That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about, I mean, so I mean, that's the only way that I can justify why you're bringing this up. And, maybe you misunderstood or what they were saying about their job. But honestly, nobody said nothing about this being their job. What are you talking about?
There's more than just Bethany. There was Dylan, Bethany, Brian, families, victims, and not in that order. It's the victims first, the victim's family,
right?
The accused, and the survivors. When I say,
okay, I want to hear that one more time.
There was Dylan, I just don't get it. I just do not get it. There's more than just Dylan. There's more than just Bethany. There was Dylan, Bethany, Brian, families, victims.
Right.
And not in that order. It's the victims first.
Right.
The victim's family.
Okay.
The
Why are you not including Dylan and Bethany as being victims too? Did they not just lose 4 of their best friends? Were they not there in the house when it happened? Is there any evidence to dictate that they had anything to do with it or could have even prevented it? So why are you not including them in that group of people? Why are you compartmentalizing which is the more valuable victim? That doesn't make sense. That's a shitty fucking thing to do. What we need to do is simply look at them all as people who lost someone that they love and be considerate of their feelings and trust law enforcement to do their jobs. Because, homie, you don't fucking know better than law enforcement. And to sit here and say that there are holes in this investigation, you don't know enough about the investigation to make that conclusion. How the fuck you don't know what law enforcement knows, dude? So how can you say that there are holes in the investigation when you don't have all the information? And even if you did have all of the information, you're not an experienced investigator to be able to determine whether or not there are holes in that investigation. You're just a jackass with a YouTube channel, no different than me. I mean, that's it. You don't fucking know, dude.
Accused and the survivors. When I say survivors, they didn't survive. It's not about surviving because they weren't attacked. They were left alone.
Okay. All right. So I'm getting there, Tatted Tech. So they're not survivors because they weren't attacked. That's what you're saying. You just said that shit out loud. That these people were not survivors. Okay, so they were in a house where 4 of their friends were murdered. There's nothing to indicate that they are suspicious in any way, shape, or form. And you're not going to make this the logical assumption that they are survivors. You don't know the circumstances. And why am I even fucking explaining this? You don't have any fucking idea what the circumstances were in that house. And say because they weren't attacked. Yeah, that's right. Open your mouth, big boy. Because they weren't physically attacked. So let me get this straight. Okay, so let's say your mom is walking down an alleyway, right? And somebody just fucking got stabbed. Your mom walks up on it, sees it happen, right? Some rando is stabbing some other rando. Then this person who just stabbed the other rando sees your mom and then decides, for whatever reason, to just mosey on right past her. Your mom's not a survivor? She didn't survive that scenario? Patricia Sell, thank you so much. Yeah, Glare, but you aren't a jackass. I mean, thank you, but we all know that's not true. Well, whatever, dude. Yeah, his mom is dead. Okay. How about when she was alive? Does that work better for you? For anybody's delicate sensitivities? Anybody's delicate sensibilities? Is that work better for you? How about when his mom was alive and she saw that? Would that not make her a survivor of that scenario? I mean, a survivor means that you were in a situation where you likely could have died and didn't. That there's a whole huge spectrum of possibilities that would entail that. So, wow.
They were left alone. They weren't even attacked.
Mm.
And that's why people will raise questions. There have been cases in the past where people have been accused by law.
We all realize that that's why people will raise questions. But reality dictates that those people who are raising those questions and doing so publicly and in an angerly fashion, well, those people are fucking assholes. That's why we're here. Okay? So those people who are looking at them as, make no mistake, you're looking at this from a perspective of why not them, instead of thank God, not them. And when you're somebody who looks at it like why not them instead of thank God, not them, that why not them attitude, well, if that's what you naturally think, and then you justify this way of thinking through shitty actions, that makes you a fucking asshole. Okay?
Law enforcement heavily. The Nicky Reeve case in the UK. Young boy turns up dead. Mum accused. Police goes round their house. They look at the books she reads, the music she listens to, the condition of her house. And all of a sudden, it's her. And her life is destroyed and ruined. Later on down the line, it turns out that it wasn't her at all. It was another young boy at the time. And 30 years later, he's then arrested, charged, and incarcerated for the murder. But the damage has been done because the people in power and the people in influence focused heavily on one direction and weren't willing to look anywhere else. Confirmation bias. And we saw a similar situation with Chris McDonough in the Summer Wells case.
Well,
he perpetuated an unstoppable attack upon the parents that even people like myself.
I agree with that, but that didn't happen with me. So, I mean, I'm glad that you're admitting. I'm glad that you're admitting that Chris McDonough at one point had this influence over you and no longer does. That's actually very refreshing to hear. But what's really funny is you're doing the same fucking shit that Chris McDonough does with other cases. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Got caught up in. And look, that might now, we're seeing stuff in the Summer Wells case where that may have been warranted. But at the time, who knows? Who knows? And it could have now done irreparable damage because now the Wells family have turned down help from the Cold Case Foundation to find Summer because of the connection between the Cold Case Foundation and Chris McDonough. So just this. But look, this platform here, Harsh Reality.
So what's your point? Like, you just contradicted the whole prior part of your video with that statement, with that point that you just made. Yeah. I think it means don't fucking do that shit. It's a dick move.
Harsh Reality is about providing a platform for people of all aspects of cases with any kind of thought process to discuss and to bounce off one another with differing opinions to discuss cases. It's not about bullying. It's about, I suppose, online rubbernecking. You know, if you're driving down the road and you see a car accident.
You see what he's doing? I mean, it's a 15-minute video and we're already past 13 minutes in this motherfucker. And here he is talking as though Ashley Banfield named him by name. She didn't. Like I said, homie's feeling some type of way about his own content.
Accident, you can't help but what's happening there, you do it. You're going to do it. The natural curiosity to find out what's happened and get answers. And we have this internal arrogance that we think that we are, that people are obligated to tell us information. We're not. I get that, but you can't take away curiosity. So I want to build a sanctuary for people, whoever, whatever they think, to come over and discuss it. But too many times are we seeing platforms that are hell-bent on pushing and steering things in their direction. And as soon as someone comes along...
Okay. You can absolutely entertain all kinds of possibilities, sure. But when you use your platform as you do, where you take the perpetuating rumors and use them for titles as clickbait and sit there and hide behind, I'm just asking questions. I'm not actually saying these things. I'm just asking questions. I'm encouraging dialogue between all of us. No, you're full of shit. What you're doing is clickbaiting and getting people with pitchforks, people who are wannabe super sleuths, to come over to your channel and praise you for saying or implying that Dylan Mortensen had more to do with this demise of her 4 friends, who's probably riddled with guilt because she didn't do enough. Because think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing as a YouTube creator if you are implying that Dylan Mortensen could have done more and throwing some sort of accusation at her. Here's the thing is, don't sit here and say that you're not throwing more of an accusation at her, because if it was simply a question of could she have done more, well then, if you were a decent, empathetic person, then you would be like, that's a lot for her to have to live with as is, you know? But you're not doing that. You're implying a narrative that she had more to do with it than somebody who just simply could have called 911. You're implying that why didn't she call 911? By raising questions like why didn't she call 911 right away when she saw this figure walk past her, who could have been fucking anybody, and literally could have been fucking anybody. I mean, it's a fucking college party house. Who fucking knows? Like, there's so many different scenarios as to why somebody wearing a neck gaiter in the middle of winter, covering his face, walking out the door, could have been there and doing that. It's not even for sure that it was Brian Coburger that walked past her. Could have been fucking anybody. All she said was that she saw a figure, a tall figure with eyebrows. She never said it was Brian Coburger. But you're making her out to say that she pointed him out and that she's going to testify in court saying Brian Coburger fucking did it. I mean, that's dangerous. That is online bullying. Because if it was purely innocent and you're just asking the question as to why, sorry, but you're implying that she could have done more. And the fact that she could have done more, if you think that you're just leaving it at that she could have done more, well, then you would have just moved on. You wouldn't be talking about her anymore. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to talk about Dylan Mortensen. I won't talk about Dylan Mortensen unless it's to call out people like you who are using her name for content. Hippiporium, welcome to Logic. Thank you.
Comes along, or a group comes along, or the direction starts to go off, they cut people off dead, and people have a problem with that. That's the problem. That's the problem. That now life in general and whatever you're talking about, whether it be politics or religion, people cannot coexist. People of differing opinions cannot coexist.
People of differing opinions can coexist. I have a chat full of people with differing opinions. I have a chat full of liberals, conservatives, different religions, non-religious. I have a chat full of people who understand the value of tolerance. We can have different opinions here. The only thing that's not welcome is harassment of any kind. That's not allowed here. Criticism is. But yeah, people here in my chat can discuss things and coexist and have very, very different opinions on certain things. So to sit here and say that people cannot coexist with different political opinions and different religious opinions, that just tells me everything I need to know about your personal environment. Because my personal environment's fine, where people with all kinds of different opinions coexist. I can tell you that for sure. I can prove it. So that tells me everything I need to know about you. That doesn't tell me anything I need to know about the world. Doesn't tell me a fucking thing about it. Tells me all I need to know about you.
And then people start trying to push their agenda, push what they believe in into people's faces.
Now, am I trying to push the agenda that it's not okay to spin false narratives about people who are genuinely affected by these tragedies that take place in their lives that they didn't ask for? Am I pushing the agenda of be aware of that shit? Know that you are victimizing people that are already victimized. I mean, like, am I pushing that agenda? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am hoping that people have a higher standard, because if you are empathetic people and you actually follow these cases, well, then you will think about everybody surrounding the case. You will consider them. And he's aware of it. He just, with this video, pointed out that he's fully aware of it. He's like, there's the survivors, there's the family, there's the people. He named everybody. He named, I mean, but for some reason, according to him, he thinks that some people are to be considered and others aren't. Bullshit. Bullshit. Those people are survivors. Make no mistake that Dylan Mortensen, until deemed otherwise by evidence, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk are survivors. And who the fuck knows why the defense is calling Bethany Funk to testify? And who the fuck knows why she doesn't? I'll tell you why I think she doesn't. Because people have been talking about this asshole, or people like this asshole have been talking about her. Thank you, Patricia Sell, for gifting Perfectly Imperfect to membership. Appreciate that. People have been talking about this girl. So now if she takes the stand, her privacy's gone. Any little bit of privacy that she has left, simply losing it by association of her friends that she lost in a violent, horrific, and now very public way. No wonder she doesn't want to take the stand. She wants to move on with her life. This is a kid in college on a path to being a productive member of society, and this shit happens. And you want to contribute to that shit happening, to make that shit stink even worse. And then you want to justify it. Oh, well, we're allowed to talk about it. I want to create a platform where everybody can discuss and have an open dialogue on everything. No, dude, like that's not, you don't get to sit here and speculate on someone's fucking life that you don't know shit about. You don't get to make a judgment on their character based on knowing very little about them.
Like the transgender movement. Like, people have coexisted for hundreds of thousands of fucking years. It's only now becoming a massive fucking problem because people are trying to ram different ideologies down people's throats. And then it's causing clashes, causing issues.
Okay. So we're comparing the issue with transgender to true crime. Really, bro? Really? Okay. We're dude, apples and oranges, man. Apples and oranges. You know, to sit here and say that somebody's trying to shove an ideology down your throat and minimize it, saying see things my way, by simply asking you to engage with empathy when you cover crime cases. Consider people who may very well be victims and assume that they're victims, because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Because a lot of these people, their philosophy is, well, you know, we're allowed to speculate. We can speculate all we want. I'm sorry that it's a very public case, but we can speculate. Well, yeah, but you can do so responsibly. You know what I mean? You don't have to, it doesn't have to be where I mean, you can consider the how that affects. These are real people. They're not characters in some fucking storyline. These are real people. I mean, why in the shit do you think it's okay to start spinning a narrative about somebody who just because their name came up in an affidavit? And the fucked up part is now I don't even bother abbreviating Dylan's name because it's so out there. But even in the affidavit, they tried to protect her anonymity. It was assholes like this that put it out there. At one point, I refused to say her name because I was just like, I'm not going to repeat her name. But it got to such a point where it was like, well, what's the point? But even in the affidavit, they tried to protect her anonymity by saying DM. They referred to her as DM. But it's assholes like this who can't look at that gesture of consideration towards a victim and go, you know, fuck. Well, you know what? Law enforcement is trying to respect her privacy. Maybe we should too. Maybe it's important to the investigation. But no, these assholes are, you know, we have a right to know. We have a right to know. You really don't, though. You know what I mean? You really don't. You don't have a right. You're not entitled to the details of an ongoing investigation. You're just simply not entitled to that.
And I could go on. This video could be 3 hours long. I'm going to do a live later.
And the fucking, I mean, to call, to compare it to the transgender issue is just so fucking ignorant, dude. It's so fucking ignorant. Like, it's not even close to the same thing. Being a transgender person does not victimize people. Being a transgender person does not victimize people. You know, all they're saying is, you know, Like, this is who we are. Deal with it. We're here. Now, I get that some of them take it overboard. I watch Blair White. I get it. I understand that there's more to it. I get that. But what I'm saying is, generally speaking, okay? Generally speaking, the overall point of the transgender community and the want to create awareness for it is that they're people too, and they have feelings, and they want to be accepted for who they are. That's the overall consensus, you know? And just basically them saying, hey, you know, we're people too. It's not shoving it down your throat. You know, like this this transgender person who became a spokesperson for Bud Light. That's not them shoving transgenderism down your throat. I know that's not a word, I know. But that's not them shoving the whole transgender issue down your throat. That's not what they're doing. They're just trying to expand their market. That's it. There's nothing sinister about it. There's no hidden agenda. Oh my God, we're gonna make redneck racist assholes love transgenders because they're gonna have to put their mouth on the same can that a picture of a transgender person is. That's not the agenda. And why are you so fucking full of yourself to think that that's what it is? It's not. They simply think there's a younger generation who's very tolerant of the transgender issue. And there's a lot of transgender people out there. Why not try to connect with that demographic? It's just a marketing thing. It's not that serious, you know? So that says a lot to me about him, where he's like, I'm trying to shove it down my throat. Like, dude, nobody's trying to shove anything down your throat, man. Just you fucking don't drink Bud Light. You know what I mean? It sucks anyway. Like, drink another beer. So right. And I'm not saying it was a smart marketing gimmick. I'm saying that's what was on their mind. They weren't going, here, we want to lose 17%. You know what I mean? Of our sales. That's not what they thought of. They were trying to connect to another demographic, and it failed. That's not what they were trying. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same thing. You can't compare the transgender issue to online bullying around true crime cases.
10:30 p.m. British summertime, which I believe is around 5:30 Eastern Standard.
All right, shut the fuck up. All right. And then there's this one.
Well, good morning. How are you? I hope you're all well. It's a fantastic day. It's Friday. TFI Friday. What a week. What a week. And I'm going to start this video with a public service announcement, because that's what I do over here. I help people. I help people to understand what is going on, what is happening to them. In a time when there is a cost of living crisis and people are struggling to afford to eat and heat, which is genuine. I'm not lying. I'm not joking. That's what it's like for many, many people right now. You know, people struggle. People struggle to live. And what am I getting at? I hear you say, what are you talking about, Harsh? What has that got to do with anything? So look,
So
if you watch a
funny.
channel,
That's
if
so
you're
funny because I was thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? I was totally thinking that. Just keep going, buddy.
watching a channel and they are someone who you love to watch, and you watch their videos and you hang on to their words, and you love them as a creator. They're part of your daily source, like me. Except I'm not just sauce, I'm meat and fucking potatoes. I want you to be very, very careful.
I mean,
because some creators,
yeah, I don't know about all that,
may turn around and use these words, these exact words. Now, this channel is completely crowdfunded. It's funded by you. You. Without you,
what the
we
fuck
couldn't
is
be
this?
here.
Oh, so this is a grift then. Got it. Yeah. You notice he does this shit a lot where he'll use the opposition. So it's like I've already covered your argument against me, you know, and he's actually doing it in this really cheap, shitty way to grift. In times like this, when you're struggling, the cost of living is so high, and you're struggling, and I understand that's real. I'm not just joking around. I'm saying it's real. I understand the cost of living is high, but you are the reason why I go on. You are the reason that creators like me, who you depend on every day, you're the reason why I keep going. Now, I realize you can't afford it, but you're the reason that keeps me going.
We wouldn't be able to do this. Couldn't do it. So if you could just click on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App.
Wow.
Send me a £50 note through the door. Click on this, click on that, click on this, and gimme. You know, it might happen. You might know someone like that. I don't know. You might. Who knows? But I'm telling you now, if their channel is monetized, and I mean that their videos play ads on them, then they are not completely crowdfunded, and they are not able to exist just because of you.
Oh, I love it.
A monetized account
Oh,
that
yeah,
shows.
yeah. I love bragging about this. I found the fucking hack, homie. Lindsay, thank you so much. She sounds like an established titles commercial intro. I found the fucking hack. See, I found a way to exploit people who exploit. I brag about it. I'm fucking super proud of the fact that I fucking exploit shitty people like this guy and Betty and whoever the fuck else I'll talk about who's just grifting and using people's horrible tragedies in their life to spin narratives and clickbait and make a shit ton of money so that it gives people a platform to where they can start making wild accusations at innocent people. Oh, I'm a big fan of exploiting that. I'm a big fan of having you on my screen and making money off of talking shit about you. I am very proud of this hack. Trust me.
Those ads on it makes money.
Mm-hmm.
This channel makes around $5,000 a month on my numbers. So with what I've just said, if you go and look at the channel that you think I'm talking about and look at their numbers, and they're similar to mine, more than mine, they're in the same niche. The CPM and RPMs will be exactly the same, round or thereabouts. You can bet your bollocks to a barn dance that channel is making thousands of pounds a month without your donations, without
Thank you,
Venmo,
Snug with
Cash App,
Pug.
PayPal,
Snug with a pug.
yada, Amazon wish lists. That's happening. And you are being fucking lied to. And that's the problem that I have. Do not sit there with your hand out like a begging fucking moron when you are getting paid elsewhere. Anyway.
I agree with him
now
on
I've got that out
that.
the way.
But he just did that.
So, the Idaho 4 case. And now I think it was Nancy Grace who has come out, and she has accused Brian Coburger of terrorizing the victims. Terrorizing them.
Okay.
Terrorizing them.
So Nancy
Indeed.
Grace. See, I wasn't aware of this one. This is a reaction video, guys, because I don't even know what he's saying here. Brian Coburger terrorizing Bethany Funk.
A question. How much do you, as an individual, you, how much do you value the human life? Could you put a price on a human life? Billions and billions to one chance that you even exist. Think how many of your brothers and sisters.
The exact number is a 400 trillion to 1 chance that you would exist. But go on.
Died in daddy's sock. And as gross as that sounds, true story, but you're here. And I want you to consider how much your life is worth. So Brian Coburger has been arrested, charged.
Let me ask you
this.
this.
We've seen loads and loads of things come out.
How much is someone's livelihood and personal life worth? You know, just how much is the peace in someone's life worth who has an opinion? Or better yet, how much is the peace in someone's life worth who just lost a loved one? How much is that worth to you? Because I think that's a valid question in lieu of what you're talking about here. How much is the peace of mind and peace in the life of a victim's loved one in the cases that you talk about?
Loads and loads of things that don't sit right to everyone, because not everybody are just, yes, I'll believe that. They look at everything. And look, sometimes that means they're wrong. Just means they've looked at something and probably taken something in and thought too much of it. And, you know, things have got muddy, but they've looked. They've looked and they've cared enough to look. And that's what it's about. It's caring enough to not just take everything at face value, to dig a little deeper and to make sure that everything is right.
How are you supposed to do that? Okay, so this is your justification. You're saying that people care. That's why they are spinning narratives that innocent people may have something to do with a crime or are hiding something in regards to that crime, right? You're saying that people asking these questions, well, it's because they care. Okay.
Whoever's a little deeper and to make sure that everything is right.
Okay. I really wanted to emphasize on that point. To make sure everything is right. Name me a YouTuber that's qualified to make sure everything is right. Much less a subscriber, right? Some rando who is, you know, just under an avatar and a handle. Name me somebody who's qualified to make sure that everything in these cases are right. Because I can honestly tell you confidently, none are. None of them. Some of you might be thinking, well, what about Duty Ron? What about Mike King? Okay. They're qualified to give opinions. They're qualified to give insight, but they are not qualified to make this right because they are not assigned to these cases. They, even though they're the most qualified of all YouTubers, to insert themselves in these investigations, they still don't do it. Do you know why they don't do it? Because it's unethical. Because they're not assigned to the case. They are retired. There are people who are actually tasked with the responsibility of making this right. So even they will not disrespect the integrity of an ongoing investigation. They'll add their insight because it's helpful, but they will not interfere. Now, Chris McDonough will insert himself and show up so he can be on camera in a press conference and blah, 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 you know, fucking Chris McDonough. Or what's all my expertise. I come to you guys and I give you all my expertise. And yeah, shut the fuck up. Jamie, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Yeah, these people even know that it's not responsible to insert themselves in these investigations to make something right. They know better. So why wouldn't we follow their example? Is what's really funny to me. Why, who the fuck are you to sit here and say that we care enough to make things right when the people who have enough sense and yet are even qualified more than you are to make things right, they know better and they don't do it. They keep their distance and they don't interfere. Who the fuck is you to minimize that? Why aren't we following their example? If they're the most qualified people, why aren't we following their example? Simple. Now, their chats do, but
that whoever's involved have been treated right. Every stone has been unturned, even the unpalatable ones. And in the Idaho 4 case, this is a clear example that there are things that raise questions. With respect of Bethany Funk, her statements, nothing that she was said was included in the affidavit. Wasn't in there. But Dylan Mortenson's, that was.
Affidavit.
First question, why wasn't anything that Bethany Funk said included in said affidavit? Why wasn't it said? Why was
he doing that
there?
on purpose?
Now, lo and
is
behold,
he mispronouncing that word on purpose? I hope he is. Like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe he's just, maybe it's an inside joke between him and his chat. I don't know.
We've got a situation where she has been subpoenaed to come forward because someone else gets hold of the original sworn affidavit and finds out that she had turned around in that interview and said that she had seen a naked person walk out the sliding door, which isn't something that Dylan Mortenson said. Also questions as to when did this happen then, because for you to see someone who was butt-ass naked walking out the sliding door, you weren't even on your floor. You was on the middle floor where Dylan, Xana, and Ethan were. So there are questions. And we have a guy who's sitting in county jail awaiting a preliminary hearing that could send him to trial for 4 murders that could take his life away.
Okay.
And people are saying that he is terrorizing these girls for questioning it.
Okay.
How in the blue fuck is someone fighting for their life?
Okay, so now we're defending Brian Coburger, because here's the thing. This is why I am calling bullshit on this. He's sitting here saying, well, how in the blue fuck is Brian Coburger fighting for his life, terrorizing someone who said that they saw someone naked leaving out of a sliding glass door? Well, I mean, Like, he's not terrorizing. I mean, can it be considered that he's terrorizing her? Sure. Of course. What if she just wants to fucking move on with her life? What if she just said that shit just like whatever, you know? What's even the source of that? Like, where did she say that she saw? And I'm not saying she didn't say it. I don't know. I just, where did she say that she saw somebody leaving naked through a sliding glass door? Because I've heard other people allude to it, but I've never actually seen where she actually said it. But I don't know. I'm not saying that she didn't say it though, because I'm genuinely saying that I don't have enough information to like dispute that she said this. But if she's innocent, and we have to assume that she is, if she is a survivor of this scenario, and we have to assume that she is until better information comes up, we have to assume this. Well, then yes, the person who all this evidence that they have against, subpoenaing her and making her testify on his behalf, that is terrorizing this poor girl. Of course. Especially if he's guilty. Because make no mistake, yes, if he's guilty of this crime and he's not owning up to it, and he's using her crazy ass story as some reason to exonerate himself from the crime when he is guilty, I'm not saying he is, I'm saying I believe he is, but let's just say for a second that he is guilty. Then yes, in fact, if he's guilty of this crime and he is calling her up as a witness, trying to use her testimony to exonerate him and so that he can walk around on the street and possibly likely kill again, well then yes, he's terrorizing her. He's absolutely terrorizing her. That's if he's guilty.
Terrorizing people. Oh, boo-hoo. You've been asked a question. You could potentially be involved in justice. In getting justice for those who lost their lives. If this is utter bollocks, then you say it's utter bollocks. You put your money where your mouth is. If
How does being in a position to where she has to sit up on the stand as a witness for the defense of the person that she believes murdered her 4 friends, how in the fuck is that being an instrument in getting justice for them? Explain that shit to me, dude, because I'm lost. How in the fuck is that getting them justice? If she's being called upon to be manipulated and her words be manipulated by the person's defense, by the person's attorneys who she believes has murdered her 4 friends. And you're sitting here going, boo-hoo. You can be an instrument for justice. No, dude, like that's not justice. Because if this dude is guilty and that somehow creates enough doubt for the jury, even though all the other evidence dictates it, but that's enough doubt for one juror to go, fuck that, I'm not sure. If that's the case, if that happens, that costs justice for those 4 people and their families and all their loved ones.
If you've got nothing to hide, if you've got nothing to worry about, you will speak and say your piece.
No, not necessarily, asshole. See, this is that lack of empathy that I'm talking about right now. This is a survivor of a situation that he claims is not a survivor unless she was attacked. She wasn't attacked, so she's not a survivor. Bullshit. She's absolutely a survivor. And you're sitting here saying that she's some kind of asshole because she doesn't want to take the stand and have to look this person in the face. That's a traumatic fucking experience for her. Everyone has the right. Just like you have the right to press charges against your attacker. That's somebody who has the right to never have to face the person who victimized them ever again. They're not obligated by law to testify against their attacker. They have the right to say, you know what? I just never want to see them again. No, of course. Is it heroic of them to come forward and get help cooperate with the investigation to get all of the evidence against this person so they never do it to somebody else? Sure, of course. But that's heroic. That's not their responsibility. They are not obligated to do that. They are the victim. And in being the victim, they have the right to choose how they move forward as a victim. By being victimized, they have earned that right. And you don't get to sit here and minimize them and trash them because they are invoking their right to just move on with their life and cope with this horrible tragedy to the best of their ability.
It will make no fucking difference whatsoever. It will prove that this was just a fishing expedition by the defense and it's all done and dusted. I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't buy it. It's pissing me off. And I apologize.
Because you're a dick.
It's not like me to rant. I'm usually so angelic in the way that I do these videos and softly catchy monkey. But today I'm annoyed, as you can tell.
Right, because you're a dick.
Let me know how you feel about it. And let me know if you feel, after my public service announcement at the beginning of this video, whether you feel that you may have been duped. Don't worry, my services are free. I'll see you in the next one.
What's up, Harsh fam? We just launched our new nonprofit organization.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut your dumb ass up. Don't nobody like you here. And then you got this shit.
Well, good morning, you beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you're all well. And today we're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. Now, it would appear that it has now been said that Bethany Funk will now meet with the defense. They're going to have an interview. They're going to have an interview in Reno and going to have a discussion. Now, what I find interesting is
because he's a dickhead, Matthew Giannotti.
So she's not going to have to go to the preliminary hearing, and instead they're going to have this conversation. Do you know what? I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I've certainly noticed it. That every single thing surrounding this case seems to be done in this almost like a cloak and dagger way. You know, these Zoom.
That's because there's a gag order on the case. You dickhead. In a cloak and dagger kind of way. Everything seems to be all hush hush. I don't understand. It's all hush hush. That's what a fucking gag order is, dick.
Zoom meetings, these last minute changes, these don't worry, you don't have to come over and come into the preliminary here, and instead we'll come at you and have a little chat in an office. I don't get it. Why would they squash it? Why should they squash it. If the boot was on the other foot,
I can't tell you why they should squash it. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you this with total confidence. You shouldn't be asking why they should squash it, because you don't fucking have enough information to form an opinion on whether or not they should squash it or shouldn't squash it. You don't fucking have any details on the case other than what was made public months ago. You don't have anything. You have no idea what evidence these people have against Brian Coburger. You have no idea.
Just say that you had a different type of person who was being subpoenaed, not a young blonde female. Would they have been as much as they have for this girl? I don't get it. And look,
what?
I know you're walking on stuff.
So apparently Bethany Funk tittied her way out of a subpoena, right? That's what happened here. According to this fucking jackass, this fucking idiot, limey dipshit, she fucking blonde tittied her way out of a subpoena, right? That's how incompetent. That's how incompetent law enforcement is, right? or the courts. You're killing me, dude. Like, I can't believe you just fucking said that shit out loud. This blonde girl. I wonder.
Stony ground when you say things like that, but there's so many things around this case that I just find exasperating. Like,
because you're a fucking moron. Stop thinking so much.
I still cannot get my head around that situation. I was reached out earlier by email by Dralatina. Hello, Doc. I hope you're well. And also, someone else had messaged the other day in comments, and they'd said something, and it kind of rung real true to me. It kind of the penny kind of dropped on something, and I'm going to tell you in a second. But yeah, so with regards to this subpoena, the subpoena's been squashed, and they've agreed to do this meeting. They're going to have a chat. Now, what I find about this,
and he criticized this girl in one of the previous videos. He criticized her for lawyering up. Dude, let me tell you something, okay? If my kid's in college, she's a survivor in a quadruple murder, and the whole world is talking about it, and her name is everywhere, and the target, yes, target, of online finger pointing. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to get my daughter a lawyer, and I'm going to tell my daughter, shut the fuck up and don't do anything that this lawyer doesn't tell you to do. Simple. It's not suspicious because she has a lawyer. I promise you that. And guess what? This little subpoena would not be squashed if she didn't have a lawyer. That's the benefit of having a lawyer. You have somebody who speaks the language of law, who can make sure that they're going to look out for your best interest in a legal situation. Pretty amazing stuff. Amazing. Dude, exactly, Deets. Totally. Get a lawyer, people, for anything and anything and everything involving law enforcement or the judicial system for these very reasons. Absolutely. The first thing I am going to tell my daughter, if she's in that situation, shut the fuck up, and I'm going to get her a lawyer. If I can afford one, of course. But the fact that they have the means to get their daughter representation when she's a possible witness, dude, I don't think I want to know somebody that wouldn't get their kid a lawyer in that situation. I don't think I want to know somebody who wouldn't tell their kid to shut the fuck up in that situation. That is just plain common sense. Dude, don't talk to anybody. Stay the fuck offline. People are going to trash talk you. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Simple. And I'm going to have somebody there, if I have the means, to be able to speak for my kid. There's nothing suspicious about this girl having a lawyer. I promise you that.
That I don't really like is that all of the documents that we've seen, all the legal documents that are admissible in court, are Dylan Mortenson's statement. They're what Dylan Mortenson saw, what, her rendition of events. And we've always kind of thought, not all of us, but some of us, I certainly have, is whether she had been coerced in some way. I spoke yesterday briefly on the fact that I wonder whether Dylan Mortenson had been coerced. There'd been an attempt to coerce Bethany Funk, and they couldn't do it. Who knows? But that was my feeling. That was what I considered. And I could be wrong for that, but fuck it. That's what I considered. And now we have this situation where they're now going to have this meeting. Is that off the books as well? Who knows? And what is going to be the outcome?
It's off
of that?
your books because there's a gag order.
I still struggle to see what.
Dude, you never fucking
if the
know.
Information is something that is.
See, this guy's showing his true colors again because he's pissed off that she's not going to add to the drama of this trial and be put on the stand. He's mad about that. The way this guy sees it is there's less drama involved in this case now because she actually found a logical and legal way to deal with her end of this. Because lest we forget, these people are not existing for our entertainment. I mean, believe it or not, folks. I mean, I know if I'm talking to any of Harsh's audience here, believe it or not, the people involved in this case, Brian Coburger or otherwise, they're not here for our entertainment. Okay? They're not. Everyone is going to do everything they can to get justice for those 4 victims, and they're going to look out for themselves in the process. And there's absolutely nothing wrong or unnatural about that. And there's definitely nothing suspicious about it.
It's so important. It is material to the case and could mean that Brian Coburger gets his wish and he is indeed exonerated. Then why not go through the proper channels? You've been requested. You've been subpoenaed. This is
wow. It's like Betty grew up in fucking Limey land. What do you mean, dude? She is going through the proper channels. She got a lawyer to put her through the proper channels. What the fuck do you mean that she's not going through the proper channels? Of course she's going through the proper channels. She's exactly going through the proper channels. Not going through the proper channels would be she's subpoenaed and then leaves fucking town, leaves the country. That's not going through the proper channels. She's absolutely operating within the proper legal channels. What the fuck are you talking about? To sit here and make her out to be like she's hiding something because she is doing whatever she's got to do to protect herself. I mean, you're sitting here and you're like, she's hiding something. Why is she hiding something? You're spinning this narrative. She's not hiding anything. Maybe she just simply doesn't want to have to sit in front of this guy. Maybe she just simply wants them to have a case against him without having to be any more involved than what she already has been, because what she's been through is without a doubt traumatizing. What you are putting her through with your content now is traumatizing to her, because you keep blasting her name in your titles as clickbait to spin a narrative that she's hiding something.
This is a mass murder of 4 university students. We feel that you've got evidence. We have proof of that, and you're coming. I don't understand why everyone's bending over backwards to.
Nobody's bending over backwards to do anything.
Do things properly. When you don't do things properly, everything goes wrong. Everything makes you question the system itself, and this is not.
Okay.
This is yet another thing happening in this case that doesn't seem to be right. So Brentley Coburger, I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, know who Brentley Coburger was. Brentley Coburger was an ex-military vet who resided on 1000 block off the Latar Road in Washington. He shared an apartment with 2 roommates. And apparently, I think it was the 14th.
Yeah, I remember that.
December, was it the 14th or the 13th? He would get into an altercation with his roommates and be threatening to kill them. And he was eventually killed by SWAT. It's kind of escalated. But what I found out was interesting in this, in that the people who was his roommates, who he was threatening to shoot, they'd got out of the room. They'd gone. So they'd left. So a military person, a military vet with a weapon, apparently takes people hostage and is threatening to kill them, but they're not even in the room at the point with which he is shot. They've gone. They've 0121 do one. They're out of there.
I'm trying to.
So at the point he's shot, it's just him in the room.
Okay.
Yes, he's got a gun, and they're saying that he's shooting, and this is escalating, and they think that there is a danger to the public, but there weren't really a danger to the people who were in the room with him, because they got out. And I'm pretty sure that if he was hell-bent on killing his roommates, that would have happened. That would have been done. So that was just something that I thought to myself, that just don't sit right to me. And subsequently, and this might just be my lack of ability, but I can't find who was in the room with him. I can't find any report or any online statement, any online post that interviews them, so they give their rendition of what happened. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is I can't find it. It might be because of the limitations in my jurisdiction to, things outside of this country, because I'm in the UK, but I do run VPN, and I have,
bro,
I just can't find it. I can't find anything. The obituary reads that he was, the sufferer of brain trauma, and that's what in effect killed him through PTSD. There's nothing to say about the incident itself, and just nothing.
It's possible that it's sealed for whatever reason. They could have filed a motion to seal the evidence, or seal the reports. There's all kinds of things. It doesn't mean that there's some sort of conspiracy to hide anybody's identity here. And there's all kinds of different hostage situations that take place that the person ends up getting killed and they didn't kill anybody else. That because they're armed and they're a threat, and they managed to eliminate the threat. SWAT team did their job. That's what happened. I don't understand why you're trying to spin some sort of comparison and conspiracy theory to the Brian Coburger and Idaho University slayings. I don't understand what you're doing here. It doesn't make sense. Neither one, I mean, are comparable. This guy didn't hold anybody hostage. This guy went in there with the intent to kill people. Whoever the fuck did it, whether it was Brian Coburger or whoever the fuck, they went in there with the intent to kill. They didn't go in there holding anybody hostage. They went in there, stabbed a bunch of people, and fucking left. I don't understand the comparison.
There is absolutely nothing that I can find from the aftermath of it. And I can't remember who it was, but someone in the comments said, what if Brent Kopacker wasn't saying I'm going to kill my roommates, but he was saying that he killed the roommates? What if his struggles and this escalation was because of his involvement in the 1122 King Road situation? And again, I know what some people are going to be like. They're going to be like, oh, you're conspiracy theorist. And I get it. But I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm just putting together from the information that's out there on the case and trying to ascertain how Bethany Funk can all of a sudden have information that's critical to the case and could potentially exonerate Brian Coburger. And then, like I said yesterday, and I think it was the day before, that was coming out and mentions of this other person being involved in this naked person, whatever.
What?
But just say there is another person. We've always queried and we've always thought, did he do it on his own? Did he not? Who is the one person who fits the bill with regards to who could possibly be the second person?
See what he's doing right here? See what he's getting at? I haven't even listened to this far, right? So he's already spinning the narrative that there was a second person. Still, after law enforcement is like, it's already been established there was one person. We have no reason to believe that anyone else worked with Brian Coburger on this in this crime. We believe Brian Coburger to have been working alone, right? And again, you don't have the evidence that law enforcement has. You don't have the information that the people charged with the responsibility of investigating this situation, you don't know what they have. You only have as much probable cause as they needed to fill up a paper to get a search warrant and an arrest warrant. That's all you've got. You have no idea what other information they have that they're going to bring forward, what other evidence they have that they're going to bring forward to trial when the time comes. But they have publicly said, we have no reason to believe that Brian Coburger or the assailant was working with anyone else. So not only is he spinning this narrative, now he's moving into what if there was a second person, and who would that second person likely be? I'll give you, chat, two guesses as to who he's going to name or imply.
The only other person on the peripheral that even makes a remote piece of sense in all of this is Brent Kopacker. He's the only person who would make sense. And look, I'm not saying he's involved. I'm not saying he's involved at all. This is me spitballing and thinking to myself,
what?
Who would make sense. And look, I'm not saying this is Brent Kopacker.
Okay.
He's the only.
Okay. So he's taking a completely different case, completely fucking unrelated, and he's spinning a narrative that some rando who he just stated got shot and killed by SWAT worked with Brian. He's the only person that could have worked with Brian Coburger in this crime. Well, John Mango, that's the point. It's nobody. According to him, the guy's fucking dead. So what? The guy didn't die? SWAT team just let him go, right? SWAT team just let him go, and then I mean, but he's dead. You said he was dead. You said that the cop shot him. So what?
Only person who would make sense. And look, I'm not saying he's
No,
involved.
it doesn't make
I'm not
sense.
saying he's involved at all. This is me spitballing.
How can it make sense if the person's fucking dead? Unless I'm misunderstanding something. Am I missing something?
And thinking to myself, why is there no information that really tidies up what happened in Pullman with that situation, with the Brent Coburger situation? Why isn't there more being said about it? Why can I not find anything? And again, I'll look a dickhead if there is information out there.
You always look like a dickhead. We went over this.
As to
this guy had some fucking jackass. He reads some shit, some jackass fucking emailed him. And because this guy had a shit ton of subscribers, and then on his fucking alt channel, he wouldn't talk about this on his regular channel, but on his alt channel, he comes up with this ridiculously fucked up conspiracy theory. And then I called him out on it, and then he got all pissy about it. Glera, you're a stupid fucking moron. And I'm like, dude, I'm not the one that had the most ridiculous fucking dumb shit theory on here and entertained it. And then he tried to play it off like it was him who said it, blah, blah, blah. Dude, you put it out there on your channel. You made a whole video about it. And you expect us to not think that you weren't trying to spin that narrative when you're up here trying to spin an even more ridiculous narrative that somebody worked with Brian Coburger, somebody who was already shot and killed by SWAT. What? Exactly. Very tech, very. Oh, yeah, that dude. I remember. Yeah, that. Oh, okay. All right. Now I understand the timing. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Deets. So, yeah, this is the dude. So this guy got shot and killed. So just because he lived in the area, this guy got shot and killed. And he worked with Brian Cooper. That was already squashed. Law enforcement already squashed that. I know what you're talking about now, Deets. That was already squashed. Law enforcement had already said that the two scenarios were completely unrelated. Like in one of the daily updates that Moscow Police Department were giving us, they said that somebody already came up with that stupid fucking theory a long time ago. They already said that they weren't related.
The validity of my thoughts in that, could he have been involved? Because I feel that he fits the bill. Ex-military, he would have been skilled in it, and could he have been manipulated if he wasn't of sound mind? Why isn't anybody even talking about that?
They already did, and it was shut down.
Why is there literally nothing?
Because it was already shut down.
Is it because there genuinely isn't anything?
Yeah.
There is nothing to say?
Right.
Or is this all about keeping people quiet?
No.
Again, the university,
what's the motive?
Colleges in this area, they are the bread and butter
See,
of
you
these
can't
places.
you can't come up with a fucking conspiracy theory without a motive, dude. That's what makes it a theory. It's got to be sound. You can't just spitball some fucking scenario out there and just be like, they're connected. I think they're connected. The fuck? What's the motive? What's the motive for keeping people quiet? What do they not want people to know? If there were two people involved, then there were two fucking people involved. In fact, why not blame it on the dead guy? I mean, what the fuck are you talking about?
Moscow, Idaho, they are financially buoyant because of the university itself. 25,000 residents, and I think it's 11,000 plus are students. Their entire economy is built on that educational facility.
Okay.
And their power, I would imagine, is way beyond what any of us can even fathom who are not familiar.
What's the motive for this conspiracy?
But let's see what happens with Bethany, this meeting, see what comes of it. Is anything going to come of it? Could this indeed just be a fishing expedition and the defense are trying to weaponize and capitalize on the information that's out there on social media, in media? We know there's been so much being said.
I
so
love that
many
he just said
statements being
that.
made.
I love that he just said that. Is the defense trying to capitalize on everything that's being said out on the internet? Love that he just said that. Because you're contributing to that. I love that you just pointed that out. Is the defense trying to capitalize on everything that's being said and spun around on the internet? Yes. Because the more that happens, the more difficult jury selection is going to be, and the more difficult it's going to be able to, for this man to get a fair trial. So the more people are talking and spreading misinformation, the more that happens, the less of a chance of this guy getting a fair trial. And if this guy can't get a fair trial and he's guilty, he walks free. Families and loved ones don't get justice. But, you know, you got $1 in your pocket. Good for you, buddy.
They no doubt see what we see. They no doubt do. When we talk about the photographers who were doing the astrophotography who apparently caught people running from there that night, they will have seen all this. They would have known all this. And if there has been anything said by anyone around this, they would have cottoned onto it. Is it genuine? Is it nothing? Like I say, let me know down below. Are the defense just so sure that they are now treading water that they have indeed now themselves got to start weaponizing the information that's out there? That's that seed of doubt. That's all they've got to do. Plant a seed of doubt, and that can grow into something.
You know what
is that
contributes?
What they're doing? Or is it genuinely something? And if this...
You know what contributes to that seed of doubt that gets planted to a juror? Muddied waters, man. More crazy bullshit information circulating around the internet contributes to the chance of a juror having doubt. It's more shit that the defense can use as misdirection, as smoke and mirrors to confuse the jury and create doubt. All these bullshit conspiracy theories that you're coming up with, all of this bullshit little narratives that you keep spinning, all of these new names that you keep mentioning and creating these scenarios with these innocent people's names is more names in a juror's head, making them go, well, I didn't know about that. What about the hoodie guy? What about Dylan Mortensen? What about Bethany Funk? What about Joe Blow at the fucking bar? You know what I mean? Like, every time you and dickheads like Zav Girl and anybody else who do this shit, anytime you people do this shit, you make it more difficult for the prosecution to present a straightforward, fact-driven case. Because there's too much shit out there creating doubt.
This is going to indeed lead somewhere, and it is going to lead to the exoneration of Brian Coburger because he genuinely didn't do it, but he could have been involved in it, perhaps manipulate someone else into doing it. Then who was it? Because
Nobody.
I'm telling you, if he didn't, because that's the issue, isn't it? The question is, did he do
Exactly.
it? Didn't he do it? Was he involved in it,
Deeds.
but didn't do it? Was he the driver? Was he the help? So on and so forth. But he either did it or he didn't. And if he didn't, someone else did. And if someone else did, I have to ask, was it Brentley Copacker? And was that shot?
Shut the fuck up, dude. That was already shut down. That was already fucking canceled out, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And yes, Shannon, I know. News Nation is fucking bullshit too. I get it. But at least them using their large platform to point out that bullying and pointing fingers at innocent people is a bad thing. If they're using their platform to do that, I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't care. You know, I to me that's a win if they are defending victims. Absolutely. So I mean, they're a tabloid news source. If you're taking the shit that News Nation says as gospel as far as facts go in the case, no, you know, but it doesn't mean that, you know, I mean, News Nation is entertainment. It's just entertainment. But at the same time, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just entertainment too. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that there's, you know, it doesn't mean that sticking up for victims and trying to help people have a higher standard for the content when they watch true crime and just simply a standard for facts, you know, like that kind of bullshit that we just watched is exactly what not to do. Because here's the thing, he might be sitting here justifying in his head, this co-packer guy, well, he's dead. How can I be victimizing him by throwing accusations at him? Well, what you're doing is this guy probably has loved ones, people that care about him, people that cared about him prior to his demise. And you are spinning a narrative that he might have had something to do with it. And then you're going to get dumbass fucking people who follow your channel to go real life and start contacting the people in his life. And they've already lost enough. Should they lose the little bit of peace that they have left that is required for them to move forward? Yeah, the burner phone thing was fucking dumb. I agree with you there. I was like, what the fuck? Why do you have a burner phone? What? Banfield? Yeah, it's just asinine, man. Like, I wasn't even going to keep talking about this dude. And it's just like, you know, he gets checked and then people call him out on it and go, man, you know, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and I'm not doing that. You know, you're misunderstanding. Glera, you're a fucking idiot. It's No, dude, like you're just gonna he just comes back to the same place. Just comes back to the same place, different case, same shit. Because this dude gets desperate. He knows that if he puts out a certain amount of videos, if he puts out a certain amount of videos, that's going to help with his algorithm. That's going to help with his audience reach. He knows that. And so he's just going to say whatever the fuck he can to make a video. And that's all that shit is. At the end of the day, I mean, it's not sinister and evil. It's just careless. It's just careless and thoughtless. Because he's not thinking about how it could affect innocent people. And all he's thinking about is, to make my $5,000 a month, I've got to put out a certain amount of content. So even if I don't have shit to say, I guess I'll make shit up. Which is exactly what he fucking did with all of those videos that I just played. Just know the difference. When you're watching shit, just know the difference. I'm not even telling you not to watch the guy. I'm just saying, like, understand that what he's doing is irresponsible as fuck. It's careless, it's irresponsible, and it's thoughtless. And it victimizes people. Simple. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace either. And I'm not defending her when I say that she, you know, her saying that Brian Coburger is terrorizing. Yes, is there some drama to that? Is she trying to be dramatic? Of course. That's Nancy Grace's MO. She will get all fucking hyped up. She'll start talking about something, and then she'll see how everybody's talking about something. You know, she'll see what the general consensus is, and then she'll jump in and be like, I can't believe the nerve of this person, Brian Coburger, from behind a jail cell, is victimizing and terrorizing this poor young girl. Leave her alone, Brian Coburger. I know you can't hear me because you're behind bars, but I'm going to say it loud enough to where you can hear me. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I am beat tired, man. I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.